Hey, this is Matthew with BI Polar. In this episode of our series on being a PM at Microsoft, I want to talk about the importance of dividing and conquering when you're faced with interesting collaboration challenges. I hope you'll stay with me. Welcome back. If you are new to the series or new to the channel, please make sure that you check out the introductory video where I talk about my goals and plans for the series. Essentially, I wish that I could go back in time to give hard-earned advice to my past self when I first started as a PM at Microsoft over 15 years ago. Since I don't have a time machine, I got a camera, and I'm going to share with you information that can help you overcome the challenges that I've gradually figured out. Whether you're a PM at Microsoft today, you're in a similar role or at a similar organization, or if being a PM at Microsoft is part of your career plans. In this video, I want to acknowledge that most interesting work as a PM requires collaboration from people across a broad team or very often across multiple teams. And I want to share some of the patterns and practices for successful large group collaboration that I've found when I need to get buy-in from a broad group of stakeholders and participants so that I can move forward and not get slowed down or tripped up after I've committed to a plan of action and have started executing. A lot of the information that I'm sharing in this video, it took me years to learn. I may be a slow learner, but hopefully with this information, with this advice, you can short circuit, you can jump over the learning problems that slowed me down for quite a while. Consider this scenario. As the owner of a feature, you need both to deliver additional functionality, which is your core priority, but you also need to get buy-in from your engineering counterparts, PM peers on the same team, and often the leaders or owners of related or dependent services. You can't ship the thing that you need to without them buying in and doing some degree of work on their own. This is the situation that will come up again and again and again, and this is where I've got 3 tips that I want to share. The first tip is that you need to talk to each key stakeholder and individual in a one-on-one context to understand their concerns and their priorities and to help them understand your plan of action. In a lot of ways, this is a variation on the core PM skill of learning from your customer, understanding their problems, and then moving forward with the solution. But it does take a very different shape or take on a very different flavor when you're trying to get buy-in from internal stakeholders. The essence of this tip is that by meeting one-on-one with each of these stakeholders, meeting with them individually, you have a chance to learn from them, both to understand their concerns, their constraints, their priorities, as well as to get their input on the goals that you're working to achieve and the ideas that you have for a solution. In a one-on-one conversation, it's much easier to brainstorm, to wallow, to go back and forth with the goal of building this shared understanding. Right now, like at the beginning of the process, you're probably not trying to convince them on day one that they need to do the thing that you're asking and that your idea is right. Like this may be part of your goals, but the most important thing that you're doing in these early one-on-one meetings is to build a shared understanding and to become aware of factors that affect them that you were not earlier aware of. And this leads me to the second tip, which is that you need to update both your understanding of the problem and your plan for a solution based on what you learn in these one-on-one conversations. If you're anything like me, you're not perfect, right? You don't have the full 360 view of the problem right at the beginning. You have not taken everything into consideration before you talk to people. In each of these one-on-one conversations, you will be learning, and then you will be updating your plan based on your updated understanding so that the next time that you talk with these people, you're going to circle back to them. It's like, hey, peer PM, hey, engineering manager, hey, colleague in another part of the org, really appreciate the time that we spent last week or last month. I wanted to come back to circle around to both update my understanding of you and your concerns, but also to help you understand how the plan is moving forward, what the current plan is, so that I know that the thing that I'm working on is something that either you agree with or that you're willing to disagree and commit. Like, you may not be fully bought in, but you will do the things that I need you to do. This is the third tip, and that is, once you've done the legwork, so you've set up the Teams meetings or you've knocked on the doors if you're in person, you've had all of these one-on-one conversations, this is when you bring it in for the large group. At some point, you need to ensure that everybody is on the same page. Everybody has the same understanding of the problem, the same understanding of the broader solution, and a shared understanding of what each team, each individual, each party is going to contribute to that solution. And this is where having the large group meeting is really key. Everybody hears the same version of the story. Everybody is there and they're nodding and smiling, or everybody hears the concerns that every other participant and stakeholder brings in. And in this situation, because you have already done the legwork, you already know what their concerns are, what their questions are, the things that they agree or disagree with, you've done the work and you've come in prepared. And that means that this final large group meeting is much more likely to be productive and to produce the outcomes that you need it to, because you have divided and then you have the opportunity to come in and conquer. One of the things that I think of sometimes is jury duty. I'm not a lawyer, but I have been on multiple juries over the years. And one of the things that really leaps out at me is that lawyers are trained to never ask a question of a witness unless they already know the answer. This is one of the ways that they will drive home the message that they want the jury to hear. Think about yourself as being a trial lawyer where you are doing the work with every person whose input and consent you need, everybody that needs to contribute, everybody who needs to buy in. And because you've done the work, you know what their answers are going to be. You know what they care about, you know what they've committed to, and then when you go into the larger meeting, you're much more set up to be successful. So here's the deal. Changing someone's mind is hard enough without trying to do it at scale. Every time that I see someone present a new concept, a big change, a big effort to a large group the first time, it's chaos. There's never a consensus, and if the person falling into this trap is a senior enough manager, the terrifying thing is that everybody is nodding and everybody is smiling like, oh yeah, these are our new marching orders. But instead of being an alignment and a buy-in so that everybody truly knows and truly believes where they need to go, instead, each of them is now going to be complaining to their peers, asking questions of their immediate manager, or taking other non-productive steps. So you cannot always get buy-in from every single person, especially for larger efforts. But to be successful as a PM, as you grow over time, to be consistently successful, this practice of dividing and conquering, one-on-one conversations with your key stakeholders, iterating and learning and updating your plan, and then coming back in together so that you can deliver a comprehensive plan that everybody to a large degree already believes in, to get the buy-in, to get the funding, to get the green light to do the thing that you couldn't otherwise do. That's what this practice will allow you to do. So I hope that this was valuable. Let me know. So drop a comment in down below, like, subscribe, all the things. I am relying on your feedback and your reactions to keep me on track and keep me motivated. Either way, I hope to see you next week.